You're watching SKST Radio.
Well, welcome to another episode of SKST Radio. You're tuned into Real Talk with Cammie, Grayson, and friends. And I have a new friend. He goes by the name of Monte. Hey, Monte, welcome to the show.
Yay! Thank you for having me on the show.
Well, welcome. Oh my gosh. Okay, so guys, this guy is a movie director, and he has a great, juicy, scary movie for you. Okay, so it is called Blood-Covered Chocolate. Don't that sound good and gory? I just love it. I love it. Okay, Monte, welcome to the show. Tell people
Thank
who
you.
you are.
Yes, so I'm a LA-based writer, director, producer, and I make horror films, obviously, and very excited for my new one, Blood-Covered Chocolate, and it's my second feature, so it's, I'm very excited that it's finally about to be birthed out into the world in all of its demonic form.
Oh, that's going to be so cool. Okay, so first of all, I have to ask, how did you come up with the title?
So I came up with the title basically when I started to work on the script and I was writing it. I wanted to find ways in the story to homage 100 years worth of amazing horror film.
Okay.
The direct inspiration for it with like its visual style within the film was Murnau's 1922 Nosferatu. And then with the poster that we put together, you can see a little sliver of it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted that to be very much in the vein of the classic Hammer horror films, the horror of Dracula and all of that. So basically,
Don't feel bad. I have a dog. His name is Dallas, and he does the same thing every single time.
I know. So then when it came to the title, Blood-Covered Chocolate, I felt that what was best for the piece was a very evocative and atmospheric, like Italian giallo style thing. Like, obviously those films you have Profondo Rosso or, Cat o' Nine Tails. And I was like, Blood-Covered Chocolate. It just was something that was very evocative of that era of horror films, and specifically with vampires. And then thematically, it just worked so well because for them, it would be, a sweet treat.
Yeah.
And then the contrast of it being, the life essence of humans. So I wanted something that was enticing and horrifying at the same time.
Gotcha. Okay. So let's go back. So how did you get started in doing films?
So I first started in films as a kid, actually, in front of the camera. I started as an actor. I was born in Oklahoma. And when I was about 5 years old, I got into a music video.
Okay.
And then I was doing local commercials and wanted to continue to pursue acting, and went to a performing arts high school. It was about that point when I was like 15, 16 or so, that I realized that my true passion was filmmaking, all aspect of it, the writing, the directing, and the acting. So I started to make short films at that point in school with friends, and then continued that through college, and then eventually came out to LA to pursue the actual dream.
Oh, wow. So now you got this film picked up by a company. So how did that happen?
So it's interesting. We finished. So the whole film, we shot it back in 2021, and it took about 14 months to edit it. I actually was the editor on the film as well. Gave myself carpal tunnel just sitting in front of the computer, putting together sound mix and everything. And then we had our wonderful cinematographer doing the color correction, which was very essential to the film because it's in black and white color and different colors like red tone, blue tone. Some scenes are in full color. So it was very like wildly experimental. And the whole time that we were working on it and making it, in the back of our mind, we were like, this is really cool. Like people are really going to love it, but is it commercial? And I just kept thinking to myself, I was like, the right distributor for this is going to be one who specifically is a horror distributor, which I didn't have on my first film.
Okay.
And everything went very, very well with the first film, but it was one of those things that I'm like, it has to find its audience that's really going to groove for it, really going to understand the wavelength that it's on. And so basically, we put feelers out there, and one of our producers on the film was in contact with the CEO of Terror. They had produced in one of his films a couple of years ago. They had distributed, one of his films. And they're like, yes, we'd love to take a look at it. And then they absolutely loved it. And they're like, yeah, we'll get absolutely behind this film and take good care of it. So it found the right distributor.
Oh, wow. Well, let me ask you a question about, and this is just a personal question. How do you go about doing your screenwriting? So that to me, okay, so I have a book and I was asked to transform my book into the screenplay. And that was the hardest thing ever. And I didn't get it done because I didn't know how to do it.
Oh, yeah. No, I understand. So I've been in love with film for so long and everything like that, I actually remember, not that they were great or anything like that, but I remember first writing in screenplay format all the way back. This was so long ago that I don't know if you remember these, but do you remember for a very brief time, they had typewriters and then they had typewriters that you would digitally write into the computer and then it would print it out? That was the first screenplay I ever wrote, was just like interior, blah, 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 and just having it do the little, I was like, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? And it's interesting because the format, the basic structural format of a screenplay with the font that it's in and all of that, the margins, is all still based around the old typewriter format.
I know, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird. It's like you would think that they would have upgraded that part a little bit,
It's like it's become a stylistic choice. But in terms of writing a screenplay, of sitting down and doing it, the only way for me to be successful is to do it in a very, very non-artistic way. Basically, I sit down at the typewriter. I sit down at the computer, and I'm basically like, all right, my goal is to write 3 pages every day.
Okay.
Doesn't matter if it's good. Doesn't matter if there's anything there yet. Just commit yourself to every little step there every day. And then eventually something will coalesce. And that's worked for me on every script that I've written for probably at least the last 8 years, is just sitting down and doing the very unglamorous task of hit that goal. And, sometimes I'm not always successful, but it's one of those things that you have to divorce yourself away from the quality, at least at first. I don't know how many times I've told, writing friends or collaborators or just whoever that I'm like, oh, I'm about, 20, 25 pages into the script right now. It's all terrible, but it's going to get better. and it always does. 'Cause it's whatever it is, you just keep pushing to the end of it, and then it all becomes great and rewrite.
Right. So do you find yourself when you're writing, your work starts creating itself? It starts taking a whirl of its own?
I think for this one, it absolutely did, because I approached Blood Covered Chocolate specifically from a much more personal place for me. Because the film, as much as it is about vampires and as much as it is an homage to the history of horror in all of its stylistic elements. At the heart of it, it's a story about somebody dealing with and trying to overcome addiction. And when I first started to get the idea for this particular script, I had become sober from alcohol, and
Okay.
now I'm approaching my 4th year. And it was
Nice.
one of those things where I realized that I'm like, that's the story that I'm telling,
Mhm.
and that's the heart of this story. And then the vampire became the very like obvious metaphor from there, because it's one of those things that's like addiction, vampire.
Right.
The
Right.
way people hurt each other can be emotionally vampiric. And I just kept running with that theme, and that's where all of the other elements informed it. But it came very much like looking at my dark half in a way. I mean, in better comparison, I mean, Massimo in that scripting, like, okay, so if everything went sideways for me while I'm on this journey, what would it look like? And that was, that was me confronting my own fear in a horror script,
Wow. Wow. Okay, so we have the trailer. Do you mind us looking at it?
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Happy second birthday to you.
Sounds like something out of Alice in Wonderland. The day you were born and the day you got clean.
Here's the newborn.
You know, your blood is as good as gold to me.
Could give you the long story. That we've always been here. That we're Legion. We suck the blood of all thy race, but you know that. You've got Twitter.
Spring like midnight rain brings you back again. Sweet like honey flowing, sweet like blood and chocolate.
I like that. It's a little sexy too.
Yeah, I like to hope so. That's
Yeah.
the other side of it, is the kind of film noir aspect.
Nice, nice. So how did you do the casting?
So we were very fortunate. So the cast came about through a lot of different ways. Most of it was based around either people who my producers on the film had worked with before, and they were like, they would work wonderfully for these roles. And then, I met with them, and some of them I think I auditioned or at least had an interview with. And some, like for instance, the lead, Michael Klug is his name, playing Massimo. He was actually in my first film. So it was a combination of that. Actually, a funny story about the lead actress who plays Tien, Christine Nguyen is her name. She's phenomenal in the film. I was watching Jim Wynorski's Sharkansas Women's Prison, and which is about a shark that attacks a bunch of female prisoners. And I saw her in them, and I was like, I wonder if I could get a hold of this actress. I think that she'd be really interesting in this role. A very different kind of film than what Blood Covered Chocolate was. But there was something, about her presence, and I knew that like she had done so many different horror films and over so many years. And that was also sort of the case of like wanting to see, I mean, a lot of them were just attracted to the material. They thought the script was very compelling and very interesting. for, you know, an independent horror film, something that they don't usually get or see all that often. And we're very fortunate with some of our mainstay actors that were in the film, like Deborah Lamb and Ellen Udy. They were just interested and really excited by the script.
Nice, nice. Well, it seemed like they were a good cast and seemed like they gelled together really well together. So,
Oh yes, they were fantastic set. It was, we were working in the independent sphere, so it was definitely a matter of long shoot days and a lot of different. I mean, my crew, I kid you not, was basically 4, including myself.
what?
And so, so it was one of those things that was like all hands on deck, continuously. No time to stop. Go, 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 go. And as an example, Ellen Udy, hi honey, who's in the film, she had a sequence that has very long takes. We're talking a part of the film where it's like 3 minutes long or so without a cut. So she would have like 7 different marks just set up on the floor that she'd have to hit. And she did it flawlessly every single time, her and Michael as well. And I just couldn't ask for more talent than that, because that's a lot to ask. And they all stepped up to it brilliantly.
Nice, nice. So what's your next project? What are you working on next?
So I do have a new film that I'm working on. I can't unfortunately go into too many more details, but I will say that it is a horror. It's called Bitter Tooth, and it's Bitter Tooth, and that it involves a serial killer and podcasters.
Ah,
yeah. Yes. Yes, it's basically about true crime podcasters meet a serial killer, and I'm very excited about it.
That seems interesting. Yeah. So I've most definitely got to look at that one. Okay, so tell people how they can see the movie and when it comes out.
Perfect. So it actually comes out tomorrow. It comes out on Tubi. It comes out on Amazon. It comes out on Google Play. And it hits Apple TV. And then, hi, Nova. On the 28th, so a little bit later in the month, it'll be on Kings of Horror. And that's just to start. We're not sure, there are other places that it might go from there. But yes, you'll be able to see it on Amazon and Tubi starting tomorrow, this is April 7th.
Nice, nice. So did you guys hit up the festivals?
We did, actually. We were very, very lucky, very fortunate. We had some festivals really love our work. So it played at the Silver State Film Festival in Las Vegas.
Okay.
And it actually won Best Cinematography.
Nice. Congratulations.
And then, yes. And then it was played at its LA premiere at the Culver City Film Festival back in December. And I won Best Director at that festival. And then what was really, really cool was it played at the Shock Fest Film Festival, which is, a horror-focused film festival. Mm-hmm. And Deborah Lamb, who's in our movie, won Best Actress for the film. So,
wow, look at you.
Yeah. So we've been very, very happy with how much the horror community has been digging the horror film. So
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, I'm a horror buff, and so that's why all the movies I do are horror movies, and so it's pretty cool. It's good to see good movies when they come out, and it's good to be able to be a platform that I can help support the indie movies and make it happen for you guys. So I'm very grateful to have you here on the show. So I'm trying to say, so thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you, and well, that like that's one of the things that I love so much about horror, and I specifically love about the horror community, is that you rally behind films. You're very much like champions for people who want to express themselves and sort of show what scares them, and just be like, here's this really cool thing. It's not playing in multiplexes, but it doesn't mean it's not great. Yeah. And it's really nice to just see that level of support for film and filmmaking, even beyond the
Right.
genre. So
That's what I like about Terra Films, though. They give it to you. They give you the opportunity to get your work out there, and that's why those guys are just like phenomenal to me.
absolutely, they're great.
Yep. So, okay. So tell people again how they can see the movie, and then we'll wrap it.
You bet. Yes. So coming out tomorrow, April 7th on Tubi and on Amazon, Google Play, and Apple TV. You'll be able to find Blood Covered Chocolate.
Okay. Now, words of wisdom.
I've been thinking
You
about
thought you was
that.
gonna pass that one, didn't you?
I was like, oh no. Words of wisdom. I think probably because I was just talking to a friend earlier today about this. So when I first moved to LA, I spent a couple of years writing screenplays, going to mixers, doing all of that hustle. And things really didn't start to move for me until basically I was like, I just got to take my iPhone in the back of my pocket and just go make a short film. Just go do it. And once I started to do that, everything changed.
Wow.
It was one of those things where it's like everybody, especially out here in LA, everybody comes with the dream, but now more than ever, you can make the dream come true. Nova
fine.
can make the dream come true.
Right.
For far more easy access than anybody else has ever had at any time.
Nice.
So my only words of wisdom would be, as cliche as you might say it, go do it, but also don't editorialize yourself.
Okay.
Don't get in your own way.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah, because I guess we are our own worst critics, right? And so, and so we can stop ourselves from what's supposed to happen for us. So I totally agree with that.
But if you don't do it, then nothing happens.
That's right. That's right. So, all right. Well, you know what? I enjoyed having you on the show. I want to have you back. And so when the next movie come out, think about us over here at SKST Radio, and let's try to help get that out for you.
Absolutely. Sooner rather than later.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, guys, this is it. Give our guy a hand here. Mr. Light, thank you. Woohoo!
Thank you so much.
Until next week, SKST Radio. Say goodbye.
Bye.